hi everyone.
Hi guys.
We shouldn't say hi everyone. We should say hi Detectives Den members.
The exclusive elite club that is Detectives Den.
This is really fun. We've never done an exclusive episode. We last Detectives Den in August. We did the interview with Buddy Day.
It's Manson, right? Manson themed.
And that one came out in our feed because we wanted people to know about it, and it was such a great interview actually. But this one is super exclusive. We are not going to be releasing this one in our feed at all. So if you are listening to this episode,
you follow the instructions that we have so diligently said to you. You know,
Absolutely.
on our Facebook page, I saw someone being like, oh, I love your Facebook Lives. You guys should totally do a tour of where you work. And I literally wrote,
really?
Oh, well, maybe you should sign up for Detectives Den this month.
That's right. I can't believe someone said that.
I did a little promo for you guys.
For you.
Yeah, I tried.
I love it. You know that Detectives Den is my baby. Matt and I work on it very heavily every single week.
How
every
much?
day.
How much is you and how much is Matt?
Well, let's put it out there.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. In
10% Matt.
When I was busy with the Spice Girls earlier this year.
Yep, Matt literally did nothing.
No, he did, because I was away on vacation, and then it was like 4th of July, and then and frankly, like Matt was like here the whole time and basically did the whole thing. Let's just be honest.
Yeah,
Matt.
it's my favorite thing about Matt was at CrimeCon when he was just like asking people to sign up, and he just like, can you sign up for Detectives Den? Like,
yeah, but he got a lot of people signed up.
He did, because everyone was like, oh, I feel bad. Of course.
They're like, oh, this poor
This is
reindeer.
Make-A-Wish.
Yeah.
I'll help you.
Yeah, exactly.
Donate $5 to the Matt Fund.
Right. But yeah, so Matt...
Should we not disguise my voice or disguise it differently?
Whoa.
Ooh, for Detectives Den members, you're saying?
Let's let Megan go wild with this one.
That's up to Megan.
I'm going to
who's
use
back.
creative discretion to her. I say
agree.
go, Megan. Do your thing. Good call, Matt.
So I do want to talk. So Matt did a lot of the first one, which was Gypsy Rose themed. And it was so good. Like, I contributed. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't like I was hands off.
Participated.
But, you know, it was a lot of Matt kind of filling in for me. So thanks, Matt, for that. And then the second one, which I kind of was the first one I was like really hands on with, was the Manson one.
Right.
And
both good ones, let me tell you.
Yeah, they were both really good. I mean, the first one, we had an exclusive interview with Nick Godejohn from prison. Like,
that's
where do you get that?
insane.
You don't get that anywhere else. And then, like, the Manson one, I was able to dig up, and this took a lot of time, actually, like, old photos of Manson and Spawn Ranch where he lived.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of these pictures are out there, but they were archived. So, like, they're not in the media as much, and it was just... We did the interview with Buddy Day,
right.
So that was another one. We did our exclusive, the exclusive episode. Sorry, I was like mixing them in my head. We were giving away like discounted like merchandise codes. So it was like, if you're not already signed up for this, and if you're listening to this,
free.
you need to do it.
There's literally no reason for you not to do it. And this Detectives Den has actually a behind the scenes tour, which is what you guys at least said to me on Facebook that you wanted to see.
Which we ransacked Matt's office in, so you need to go watch it right now.
There was literally nothing in his office. It's hilarious.
There was a ketchup packet and a pen.
And there was like, there's a stapler in the middle of the floor. Okay.
Matt, have you seen that yet, by the way?
I have not.
Okay,
you
great.
should, because it's pretty funny.
Well, it's out now, so go watch it.
We have some... Is it out? I haven't
by
even
the time
seen
you're listening to this
can you send me the
episode.
cut of it?
I'll make sure you see it.
Exclusive merchandise, exclusive Q&A just for you members.
That was so fun.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah,
and if not most importantly, a chance to ask Paul Hose a question to be answered in the next Detectives Den. So get your questions in and fucking sign up for Detectives Den.
Yeah, obviously.
There's literally no reason.
So if you can't tell, we love Detectives Den here at Martinis Murder.
We get paid per mention.
Right, exactly.
So Detectives Den.
Yeah, we'll send this straight to the president. They'll send us the money.
That's right.
Well, before we get started on the case, Gina, the staff boozer, is making an appearance this week.
Yes, finally. I've missed her.
I was going to say, Gina's been out for a while. There was a good, like, month where, like, I didn't see Gina. I sit right next to her.
Yeah.
Gina, how are you? How's your mental state? Are you good?
Well, even when we were filming our desks, remember, I was like, can we film Gina's instead? Because she has all the booze. And you were like, she's not here to approve that. And I was like, damn it.
So, there you go. Welcome back to the show.
It wasn't quite a month, although I'm glad it felt that way.
No, I mean, that's a good point. It wasn't a month. I shouldn't be that rude.
It's been years, darling. It's been years.
We've just both been on vacation, I feel like, at different times, so. So
Must
what are we
be nice.
drinking? I know. What are we drinking?
So I'm giving you a choice today.
Oh, I love a choice.
And I think unless you've been under a rock, you know that there ain't no laws when you're drinking claws.
Hell yes, White Claw.
I do know that. I don't get the obsession
I
with
don't
that, but
either.
people love it.
Well, we're trying a new competitor today
Oh.
called Mighty Swell. They call it a spiked spritzer, though, so it's got a little more fruit going on.
Ooh.
So you can
Good.
either have it by itself, or you can mix the grapefruit flavor with tequila for like a Paloma.
Okay.
You could do grapefruit and vodka for like a Greyhound.
Yeah.
Or bourbon and peach. And then I think there's also a watermelon mint flavor.
So are these just, do they already have alcohol
Cherry
in them or
lime.
no?
They do. They're like a beer strength.
Okay,
you
so
can
like
either
4.5
go with
or
that.
something.
Yeah, 5%.
Or up the ante a little
yeah,
bit.
if you're, feeling it on a Monday.
On a Monday afternoon.
Wow, I mean,
let's put
who's
it that way.
who's not feeling it
Who's
on a
not?
Monday?
Listen, for Detectives Den members, we've got to turn it all the way up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the vodka, whatever the hell.
And
grapefruit.
When I say turn it all the way up, I mean I'll just have the regular drink without anything in it
Yeah.
because I'm a baby.
What flavor would you
The
like?
mint. What were you saying? The
Watermelon
Ooh,
mint.
I'm definitely trying that.
Try
I'll
it.
try that one. Thanks, Gina.
Megan,
Megan.
we gotta try all the different ones.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. All right. We're set.
Thanks, Gina.
This is exciting.
All right, let's get into
Matt,
the
are
case.
you going to be drinking something too? By the way,
Of course he is.
Damn straight.
Matt, is
That's
there
why he
anything?
came to the office today.
Is there anything for Detectives Den members that you want to say, like that's an exclusive, like just for them or anything? No. Oh, okay. All right, on we go then.
On we go.
All right, well, let's finally get into this week's case, or this Detectives Den case, I should say. And again, this is not really any different from a normal full case that we would be doing, but we thought this would be like a really fun one to kind of do. Not fun, but, interesting. So, born in 1969 in a town called Bremerton, just on the other side of Puget Sound from Seattle, Shelly Arndt and Kelly O'Neill, they were born with the maiden name of Covey, were identical twins. So right off the bat, just get that in your head, they were identical twins.
Yep.
They were born just...
Shelly and Kelly, baby.
There you go. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Right. They were born just 9 minutes apart, and they were incredibly close as young girls, and they remained close as their parents were divorcing when they were 12 years old. For years, they were so similar looking that they'd play pranks and switch places, but by high school, they began to grow apart.
That's what I would do if I had a twin.
Parent trap, basically.
Parent
right?
trap, just like, oh, this date's shitty, go do that.
Yeah.
Show up at my office, like Trick Andy.
Oh, you would definitely do that.
You know what I mean? Like, go host Martinis Murder once.
See what happens.
Yeah, see what happens.
I mean, you and your brother actually kind of look...
We do
similar
look like
enough that I could
fraternal
say-
twins.
Yeah, I would say you guys could get away with that.
Yeah.
Well, Kelly told Snap that, quote, Shelly was a natural... Oh, I love the sound effect in the background, too. Yeah. Kelly told Snap that, quote, Shelly was a natural athlete and she excelled in almost every sport that she did. Basketball, soccer, fast pitch, volleyball. She was really good in sports and I was the cheerleader and smart in school, end quote. Shelly partied more and Kelly studied more.
Okay.
Kind of different kind of approaches to school.
Yeah, but I could see like a rebellion against. Thank you so
Oh my
much.
God. Gina, these are pink
They're-
and beautiful.
Yeah, I love grapefruit pink.
Yes.
I could see like there's a rebellion, maybe
Thank
not
you.
even just towards your parents, but towards your sibling who not only do you look
Well,
exactly
right.
alike, but just you probably get mistaken for constantly, and you want a little
Right.
separation.
I agree with that. Yeah. And that happens probably with people who aren't even twins, like if you're close in age and just dealing with things.
Yeah, as an
and it's
aside, a
different.
lot of people, and I think it's because like people don't understand how to handle like two women who are close, or anybody, maybe it's
Yeah.
men too, but a lot of times Carson and I will get like, are you twins?
Yeah.
And then she has friends who are twins, and we're like, what's the number one question you get asked? And you know what they said?
What?
Do you guys think the same thing at the same time? That's the number one question that her twin friends get asked, which I think is
It's
a
odd.
little crazy.
Yeah, that's a little odd.
Right.
Yeah.
I did have some close friends in high school, though, that were twins, and they completed each other's sentences all the time.
So
And it
maybe
was-
it's a
Maybe it is a
thing.
thing.
Uncanny.
Yeah. I mean, if you have the same chemistry in your brain pretty much, and well, pretty much. I know that's
Well, right,
saying,
it's-
but you might
Nature,
have-
nurture.
Yeah.
Right. I
Yeah,
know I
yeah.
get that. It's just like completing each other's
I know,
like
that is
they're not
weird.
what kinetic or whatever, telekinetic
Yeah.
or whatever the fuck. Weird.
We aren't the X-Men here, guys.
Yeah, right.
Here's a question. Do
Yeah.
they have a similar enough DNA or
That's what I was
basically the
saying.
same DNA?
They're the
do
exact
have the
same
same
DNA. They're
DNA.
twins.
So if someone killed someone,
Yep.
Correct.
you would not know who did it.
Yep.
Correct.
And,
That's insane.
and that's a great kind of thought as we head into this case.
Yeah, we're advocating to kill twins. I think that's what we're all agreeing with. The moral of the story,
Sounds
kill
like
every
it.
twin out there?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Okay, cool. Just
Great.
making sure I'm picking up on.
Let's do a quick cheers, bitch, before we move on, because I do
Wait,
want to
Gina's got a caveat?
She's got
I
a note.
forgot to mention that Mighty Swell sent these over for us
Thank you,
complimentary
Mighty
to
Swell.
try. So
Awesome.
Oh my
Thanks.
God.
keep that in mind.
Thank you.
All right.
Cheers.
Bitches.
Cheers, bitch.
Wait, Matt, what did you choose? Oh, sorry, you're not on the mic. Oh,
Cheers.
sorry,
What did you choose, Gina? Oh, she chose
Oh.
peach. What did you choose, Matt?
Peach.
Peach.
Gina was trying to drink without cheersing me.
Which one did you get, Megan? Same one as me, and you got a different one.
You know, Gina hit it on the nose about the like beer type of level, and I don't typically
That's
like
why
beer.
this is dangerous, though, because you could have
I
like
know.
12 of these and not realize you're actually
I
drinking
was
alcohol.
just gonna say that, and I think this could be my drink. So thanks, Mighty Swell.
Not for nothing.
Yeah.
I kind of like these better than White Claw.
Ooh.
Better flavor.
All right. Well,
A
you
little
can
bit more of a carbonation.
a little kick, right? I like that. By the way, Gina just put a whole other box in our studio refrigerator, and I might be sneaking in and getting them.
Well,
later.
we'll see.
Okay, we'll see what
We'll
happens.
see.
Under
If I
Matt's-
see you sneaking in the office getting alcohol, literally all of us here
Thanks,
will
Gina.
just quit our jobs because
That's-
we've seen the impossible. Thanks,
Imagine
Gina.
me like snooping in. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so like I said, Shelly partied more, but Kelly studied more. But this changed during Shelly's junior year when she got pregnant. That's a lot to handle when you're a junior in high school and you're pregnant.
That's a lot to handle at any age, let alone in
for
high
a child,
school.
right?
Yeah.
Kelly told Snap she didn't know who the dad was. The baby was put up for adoption, but Shelly, the star athlete, went into a tailspin. She didn't have plans for college or her future, and soon after the adoption, she married a sailor she met at a club in 1987.
I don't like the way this is going.
I don't like the sound of it either. I want to say one quick thing, though. About just like adoption stories. I have a friend who I'm very, very close with who used like the 23andMe and or Ancestry.com.
Yep.
Found out that she grew up down the street from a cousin and went to high school with this cousin. Her whole life, was friends with her, and had no idea she was her cousin because she was put up for adoption.
That's
Isn't that
crazy. I
crazy?
just read another story about how she, like, a woman got it for her husband, and then it turned out her husband was her cousin. I just don't understand how
Wait a minute, her husband was her cousin?
she didn't know.
What?
I just read this online the other day. But how does that figure out? Like, does that, like, you're adopted? Does that mean that cousin that she didn't know was her adopted also had to do 23andMe to figure that out?
Yeah, in a sense. So what happened was she put her DNA in, and what happens when you get your results is, and you now can opt into this. Before it was automatic, and then like the laws changed. But when you put your DNA in, you also get a list of people whose DNA closely matches you. This is how they found the Golden State Killer,
Right?
Or the alleged Golden State Killer. They were able to match ancestral and familial DNA to him, and it all connected the dots. But essentially, what happened was, yeah, this other person also used 23andMe, and their DNA was so closely aligned because at the
That's
cousin
crazy.
level, it's pretty close.
But they would only know that because that other person had participated in
someone
23andMe.
Yes, exactly. I mean, and so it turned out there was this whole story about my friend's aunt being locked away in the family cabin for 9 months because she was ashamed that she was pregnant and got pregnant so early.
My God.
It's like a story.
I, like, in 10 years when most people will have done 23andMe or Ancestry.com
Yeah.
or whatever, like,
Yeah.
they're going to be solved. It's going to be like the crime database.
That's what I just asked Billy Jensen in one of our recent episodes.
Yeah.
You guys are listening on Detectives Den. You can listen to it in our feed. I was like, don't you feel like soon enough we're going to find like John Benet Ramsey and all that stuff?
Them and like Apple, because they
Killer.
have all of our face and
Right,
fingerprints.
well, that's right.
So there you go.
But listen, I'm all for it. Let's get all of our information in there and let's find these people.
Well, the Genome Project is pretty much complete.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. We're going to get through this. I promise. Okay. So she was only 18 and soon she had 2 boys. In 1991, the Navy moved Shelly's husband to Hawaii and Shelly and the kids followed. I will also say this. I know someone who was stationed in Hawaii as an Army, whatever, for like 5 years.
Yeah.
It's not easy, by the way.
No,
to
I
be
mean,
isolated from the rest of the country, your family.
It's my favorite place in the
To visit,
world,
right?
but not to live.
Yeah. You do go there pretty often, don't you? But Shelly's husband was often gone, and the marriage started to crumble despite the couple just having a 3rd child.
They're cranking them out.
Kelly said, quote, him being gone so much and her being with the kids, she was a stay-at-home mom. I think she got bored, and I think she wanted to find something else to do. She had an affair, end quote.
I mean, this happens. You know what I mean? I mean, like,
People have needs.
People have needs, and people are social creatures for the most part. And I think you can't necessarily stop or stifle like an instinct that human beings have.
I agree with you. The affair contributed to Shelly's husband getting full custody of the kids. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Shelly married the man she had an affair with, but that lasted less than a year, and by 2000, she was back in her hometown of Bremerton, Washington. The 31-year-old moved back in with her mom, and she tried to sort her life out again, and that's when she met Darcy Veter Jr.
Okay. Carson calls me Darcy when she's like mad at me, or Darby, like just, or Derry, like just to like piss me
Just
off.
to mess with you?
Yeah, she's like, you know, because I get my name spelled all the time wrong.
I just want to make sure you know this. I would never.
Because
do that
you're
to you.
respectful
I'm
and you're the best
respectful and I
lesbian
love
I've
you.
ever dated.
Exactly. Thank you.
Also,
That was like so loud in my. Also.
Sorry.
No.
I was just gonna say Darby.
Oh my God.
Darcy also goes by Junior often, so that'll be switch back and forth in the script.
That is like.
Is Darcy
Junior.
a guy? It's a
Yes.
guy. Okay, just for clarity.
Okay, because I was going to be like, a girl going by Junior is like kind of sexy.
I knew a Darcy in high school that was a girl, so I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
Darcy
interesting.
seems more
Like a girl?
female-centric to me than
Yeah.
male, but okay, he is a male.
He's a male. Got it.
That's probably why he goes by Junior.
I was going
Yeah,
to say
probably.
that might be it.
Well, Darcy Veter Jr. was 7 years younger than Shelly and worked at a maintenance company for the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. And just like Shelly, the 24-year-old was living at home. They met at a bowling night with Kelly and her husband.
How
Shockingly.
wholesome.
God, I love bowling.
Me too.
Kelly's husband said, quote, he was outgoing, fun personality. Yeah, good guy to be around. Very good bowler.
Good things to have.
I hope at the end of my life,
People remember
I'd be
me.
lucky enough for somebody to be like, you know, good girl, good bowler, good bowler.
funny.
Shelly took it easy though, and they remained just friends for many months. Junior, as he was sometimes called, as Matt said, was a huge sports fan, and the four of them would hang out at sports bars, as
This
one
is
is wont to do.
My worst nightmare. Hang out at
Finally-
a sports bar. Ugh.
Yeah, well, finally they took the plunge and got serious. Shelly moved out of her mom's house and moved in with Darcy Jr. and Darcy Sr.
Got a pair of Darcys.
Little pair of Darcys, two Darcys. They even told people they were engaged. Detectives Den stands for Darcy Jr. and Darcy Sr. I was trying to put on all the
That's
D's.
a good connection, yeah.
So they even told people they were engaged. And Kelly said, quote, they were never married, but he was still just like a brother-in-law to us. He was an uncle to my kids. Okay. So for the next 14 years, they continued living with Darcy Sr. and Darcy continued working at the shipyard. So 14 years had gone by. So a lot had moved on.
Yeah.
Shelly worked too. She had more remedial jobs like, you know, a gas station attendant and being an office aide. I want to say like admin work.
Yeah.
You know, basic kind of entry level positions.
Yeah.
She always helped around the house and always helped out with Darcy Sr.
Mm-hmm.
On weekends, they'd bowl or hang out at Kelly's house. I love that they're just like bowlers.
I know. I like that.
Shelly's niece said they'd come over to her house for Christmas or big family gatherings. One day, Shelly and Junior helped install closet doors at Kelly's house when her husband was stationed in Japan. The couple stayed the night, and the next day, everyone went to brunch and hung out all day. Kelly told Snap, quote, and at that point, Darcy had asked if they could stay another night, end quote. Oh, no, he didn't.
Let me say this. I just had a vision of like a Martinis and Murder bowling night, but like Matt goes to try to bowl, and he's one of those people that ends up on Instagram that threw the ball
Like through the ceiling?
up through the ceiling,
Yeah.
and like we get kicked out.
Or like couldn't get his like fucking fingers out of the ball, so just like
His
went
hooves.
down. Yeah, his hooves. So just like went down the alley with it.
They have like a special
Do either of you want to
hooves.
challenge me at a bowling night?
I do, yeah.
Do
I
you
do.
like
Really?
throw it underneath?
Are
do
you good? You seem like
Say that.
oh. Wait, can we do
Absolutely.
that?
Could
That would
we
be
say
really
that?
fun.
Wait, hold on, John.
Okay, sorry.
Could we say that?
Why don't you find out?
Oh,
I think he's really bad,
and ooh,
but needs someone to hang out with. So I feel like we
that's
should
kind of why I mentioned
do
that.
it.
We should do that just
But
for
then
him.
like really be like, oh, we're so scared.
But do they make bowling balls where you can insert hooves? I don't think they do. Maybe he can put it in his
You know
antlers.
what he does? He does that fucking underhand toss.
Well, imagine he puts
Like
it
a
in
lady.
his antlers and just like whips his head
What
around.
was that? If anyone, Detectives Den exclusive
Oh my
next month
God.
is the movement that John Thrasher just made
It was a
with a
neck-
bowling ball on a hoof.
It was a neck whip. I almost said a neck whip. It was a neck whip that a reindeer would need if he were to put
He was
a bowling
whipping
ball.
his antlers back.
Exactly.
And forth.
Now I know why we
Yes.
don't drink on Mondays.
I know, this is true. This is out of character for both of
All
us.
the
of
liquids.
us. All
Okay,
right,
go ahead.
Let's get back to the show here. So around 4:45 a.m. on February 23rd, 2014, a number of 911 calls came in reporting a fire.
Okay.
Now we're going to read a transcript with the help of actor Gia Montaigne.
Yes.
And if you're a fan of the show, you may remember that she appeared as a guest on our show a couple of weeks ago when we were talking to her and Sherry Shepherd.
Yep.
Gia is on a Snapchat show, and she reenacted this scene with us, but it was so good that we had to include it.
she gave us pointers and tips.
She was giving us tips.
Yes.
So go back and listen to that if you
And
can.
her shows, the Dead Girls Detective Agency.
Thank you, Matt, because I just said Snapchat because I couldn't remember the exact name of it. Yes, Dead Girls Detectives Agency. It's a really fun show on Snapchat.
And she's great in it.
Right.
Let's do it now.
Okay.
Kitsap 911, what are you reporting?
I've got a fire. Everything is just flaring up. Son of a bitch, windows are blowing out.
Do you know if everyone's out of the house?
No, they're not. All right, well, there you go. I mean, she gave us like even more tips on how to act. One of us won this competition, by the way.
Well,
I can't say who, but you need to go listen.
One of us did win because we had a little bit more heart and soul into this.
Let's just put it that way.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All right, so by the time the firefighters arrived, just a few minutes later, the whole house was in flames.
Wow.
A fire marshal told Snap, quote, "It was a very big fire. They had fire coming out the front of the building. They had fire coming out the basement area of the building," end quote. Kelly said, quote, "I'm sound asleep, and the next thing I know is that my bedroom door gets flung open, and Shelly tells me that the house is full of smoke. I could hear my fire alarm. You could absolutely see nothing in front of you. I couldn't even see the kids. I knew they were up in front of me, but I didn't know exactly where," end quote.
Not for nothing, but getting woken up in the middle of the night, regardless of
Yeah.
whatever it is extremely jarring. To only
Totally.
find out that you can't find your kids and the house is on fire.
And that you can't see in front of you.
I could not imagine.
Well, not to make light of a house on fire, but I will say this. I was just in LA recently, and I went to Universal Studios.
Yeah.
And by the way, the Mummy ride in Universal Studios.
How are you relating this?
I'll tell you. Hang with me for a second.
Oh, God.
The Mummy ride at Universal Studios is way different than the one in Orlando from LA.
We were all wondering.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah, we were
all
bated breath. Megan came back, and that was the first thing she asked.
That's why you guys from Detectives Den signed up.
100%.
You want to know this.
Yeah.
But one of the things that happens in the LA ride is, the Mummy, the movie, it's like creepy and whatever, is it reverses into a room and they fill the room with mist and you instantly go almost blind because you cannot see your
that sounds
your
fun.
hands in front of you. And I thought, oh my God, this is what happens like when a house is like on fire and there's smoke in it. And it freaked me out to go and to not expect that and then go from like instant mist and you can't see anybody or anything around you.
I mean, that's really cool, but the fact that people pay and
I
stand
know.
in line to be like,
know.
well, this is what it's like if my house is on
I
fire.
know. It was 160-minute wait for that, by the way. So
160-minute
it
wait?
was Labor Day weekend. There was a lot of kids. It's a
And
whole
you
thing.
waited 160 minutes?
I don't know if we waited that long, actually. The Jurassic World ride we waited a long time for, but anyway, back to the show. I'm just saying she was explaining that you couldn't see in front of you, and that's how I felt.
We could have recorded an entire Martinis and Murder
know.
episode while you were waiting for
I
this
know.
fucking death ride.
Listen,
but anyway.
we should have done that.
I have a small tangent.
Okay,
that
let's go.
I must insert.
That's
very
okay.
Quick, though.
Yeah, that's what
It's
the show
just
is.
Weird that I brought up the twins that I was good friends with before
Mm.
because their house burned down when we were in high school.
Oh my
Completely burned
God.
down.
Oh, that's
Yes.
weird.
That is weird.
Yes, and their dog was in the garage.
Stop.
And burned alive.
Stop.
and
Matt.
died.
Matt.
Sad. And one of the twins told me that because we were making tea one time and the tea kettle started making a noise and she was like, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. And she said,
PTSD.
she said, every time a tea kettle makes that noise, I think about my dog screaming
Stop.
in the fire.
Matt. That's
I'm
like,
sorry.
I can't go on.
It went from like theme park rides to that. So
Yeah, right. Like, no.
Yeah.
I can't function. I literally have just combusted.
let's just try to bring it back.
That's horrible.
Matt has destroyed the mood
my
once
God.
again. This is a classic Martinis and Murder
That's
episode.
It's a
horrible.
fucking murder podcast, guys.
He does
So one
have
thing
a
about
point.
murdering humans is another
I know.
quite different with animals.
All right, well, give yourself a minute. I'm going to keep going here
Keep
with the
going.
show.
I'm going to drink.
Shelly's nephew told Snap, quote, "You know you're supposed to crawl, but it didn't happen just because we're all trying to get out of there so fast. We didn't know how fast it was going to spread."
I literally am about to cry.
I know. I saw
I'm
your
never going to be
face.
able to get over this.
You'd think after a couple hundred episodes, Matt would know not to trigger you, but here we are.
I'm triggered.
Listen, Detectives Den fans are getting it all in
I
this
know,
episode.
yeah, seriously.
Couldn't we just stick to Universal? I don't know. Anyway, Shelly, Kelly, and Kelly's sons made it out the front door while Kelly's daughter ran out through the garage. Kelly's daughter said, quote, "I ran to the end of our driveway where my mom was, and we were looking at the flames, realizing that it wasn't a small fire, that it was almost in every bedroom. Both my brother's bedrooms were fully engulfed at that point, and then we could hear the dog barking." End
Okay,
quote.
everyone needs to stop.
This is
Stop.
Matt. This is Matt.
I'm dead serious.
This is Matt. I know. If you really want to skip some of
well,
this.
I mean, I might as well. I'm
There's not
giving
I'm
up.
going to tell you, there's not a good ending here.
Oh, okay. Are you all right?
I'll
Seriously, are you
continue,
okay?
but
Okay.
like I'm like not.
It's okay.
Okay, thank
We'll
you.
hold hands through some
Thank
of
you
this.
for understanding.
I was just trying to toughen you up for what's about to come.
I hope the fans fucking shit
my
all
story
over you,
was-
Matt.
My story was
Absolutely.
real bad.
Yeah.
I know.
It might be time to turn his mic off, to
Yeah.
be honest. The dog was a Saint Bernard named Chevy, and he was bred to rescue, so he remained behind to save someone.
Okay.
And that's when they realized Darcy was still in there. How you doing so far?
Well, he
You're not
went in
well?
to save someone.
I know.
Okay, this is why animals are better.
Specifically dogs, though, let's be honest. A cat's not going back in there to help
No,
you.
because cat's smart.
Love a cat. That's already out the door.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's smart.
Shelly tried to get to go back in and save them, but Kelly stopped her. The whole house was in flames. She said, quote, "I was heartbroken knowing that there's nothing you could do. Darcy and Chevy were gone." End quote. The firefighters confirmed it. Kelly said, quote, "The firefighters came to me and told me, I want you to know that your dog is a hero." And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because when they found Darcy, Chevy's mouth was around his wrist. He had drugged Darcy off our couch and had drug him around the side of the couch by the fireplace. And that's where they died, and they died together. End quote. Very tragic. Daryn, how are you holding up after that
I
note?
can't even. Just keep going.
All right, keep going.
Yeah.
Shelly was Shelly just kept pacing back and forth and asking where Darcy Jr. was. Her niece said, quote, "She was sobbing off and on. She would calm herself down for a couple of minutes, and then she kind of started to go again." End quote.
I
mean,
relate.
that's typical in grief. Yeah, you relate right now.
I'm literally doing it right
Yeah.
now, and I have
Do you
absolutely
need-
no relation
do
with
you
these
need a
people.
hand
I mean,
holding? I'm here for
I know
you.
you like my mangled finger.
And my hand's like kind of clammy. Sorry.
Oh, it's there's comfort
What happened
in
to
that.
your finger, by the way?
It was that same kickball accident, but then
Oh.
it started to like kind of get sore, and I didn't clearly splint it for long enough.
Got it.
So I went to the med center, and she was like, "Just do it for a week." So
Yeah,
I'm just-
okay. All right.
Anyway,
All right.
it's nothing like a dog fucking dying. I'll tell you that right now.
Fair enough.
As Shelly mourned and the flames started to go out, firefighters in the sheriff's office began to trying to figure out what had happened
Because,
and why
by the
it
way,
had happened.
this is all very odd, you know?
Yeah, and like for everything to be up in flames kind of randomly seems
Yeah.
suspicioso.
Yeah, especioso is a great word. I don't know if that's even actually Spanish, but yes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
A neighbor told them that the fire didn't start small. It seemed to take over immediately, and the family agreed. They also said Shelly was the one who woke everyone up, but Shelly had told police that she thought the kids had gotten Darcy up.
Mm-hmm.
Now listen, these details are very important, but at the same time, in a panicked moment,
Yeah.
would I remember who the fuck
Yeah,
got
yeah.
up first? Maybe not.
Not at
I
all.
don't know.
I'm just trying to survive.
Right, exactly. In an interview with police, Shelly had said, quote, "He kept yelling at Junior to get up, and that's all I know," and he said he was right behind him, end quote. It was honestly a horrific situation, as we can all imagine, but why hadn't Darcy Jr. gotten up? Turned out that in an exchange for helping Kelly with the handiwork, the family had a few drinks and then many more, just like I am
like our
literally trying to
show.
drown my sorrows right now. Kelly's daughter said in an interview with police, quote, "Darcy, he was pretty drunk. He was incoherent pretty much. He could talk, but he wasn't making a lot of sense," end quote. When asked how much beer Darcy had drank, Shelly had told police, probably a case and a half, maybe 2 cases.
That's a lot of beer.
I mean, listen, I know men that can drink
I know.
can drink beer,
Right.
but like just filling your stomach and body with that much liquid
Yeah,
feels impossible,
I
let
agree.
alone handling the alcohol. Here's a snippet of a transcript between Shelly and the police. Why don't you be the investigator and I'll be Shelly?
All right. So an investigator, obviously very stern. So
Yes.
how much beer did you think he drank?
Probably a case and a half, maybe 2 cases.
Okay. Is that a normal amount for him to drink?
Yeah, or more.
Really? Okay.
Scene, good accent.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
have
believed
to
it.
say that might have
Take the cake?
Best acting job you've ever done.
It might,
I secretly want to be an actor, I think.
You kept up with it.
All right, thank you.
And the coroner's office confirmed he was wasted with 0.26 blood alcohol level, which is 3 times the legal limit. As we know, is 0.08, which we're not going to say you're drunk at 0.08, but that's the legal limit.
Exactly.
For driving. I don't need anyone coming at me being like, brr, 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 brr.
Let me drink.
Right, exactly. They also confirmed he had died of smoke inhalation. Not surprising.
I want to mention I'm at a 0.002 at this point.
But and
you're
the
drinking
smoke,
a nice coffee,
the smoke
so-
is coming in.
Yeah.
I'm getting my caffeine and my alcohol. As the county fire marshal began investigating the blaze, he noted that, quote, we saw heavier fire damage of the structural components of the building actually being burned downstairs, end quote. It appeared to have come from the basement, which Kelly said was very weird. They were remodeling and nothing was down there, not even carpeting or a bathroom. So what would sort of set it aflame?
Right.
The fire seemed to have come from a leather couch left down there, and the fire marshals noted that leather couches are pretty hard to light on fire.
I didn't even know that, actually.
Well, you
'Cause
burned
they're-
a couple couches at WVU, didn't you? Were they ever leather?
I can't confirm or
deny.
deny any
Can't
part of
confirm.
those couch fires on High Street in downtown Morgantown, West Virginia.
Yeah, on February 28th.
Yeah, 2008, yeah.
They also found out from Kelly that there were some beanbag chairs left in the basement, miss a beanbag, and styrofoam beads in beanbags burned pretty good, according to the fire
Right,
marshal.
right.
But those were supposed to be, 10 to 12 feet away from the couch, which is where the fire had started. However, melted globs of stuff, which is probably the most accurate term we've used on the
Very
show.
scientific.
Scientifically, melted globs of stuff. And
Yep.
that's not in a quote, ladies and gentlemen. That is science.
That's right. And I look like a melted glob, so
Of
it's
stuff.
interesting. Of
You
stuff.
do.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Melted globs of stuff that they believe to be residue of the beanbag foam was found clinging to the coiled springs of the couch's cushions. Okay,
How
remember,
would you describe
My body,
the glob,
melted glob, yeah.
The glob. I mean,
Little John Thrasher's.
I'm getting shit for the script right now.
Well,
I'm getting shit for the script.
I didn't mind it,
But
but
how would you describe a melted what? What do you want to say?
melted remnants
Remnants.
of what looked from the beanbag. I don't
Is
know,
that
melted.
more accurate than globs?
I'm not sure. Globs of
One
stuff.
word she disagrees with
Is
and it
good.
turns into
She has a good
a
point.
huge fight.
It's
globs
not,
of
it's
stuff is
It's not.
one thing.
It's not the glob.
is
It's of
one-
stuff.
One word that
my
she
God.
disagrees with.
I mean, I'm sorry, but like anything
this
could
is
be
a
a glob
point
of
of
stuff.
contention.
Fluffernutter is globs of stuff.
peanut butter.
It just happens to be a fluff.
My personal favorite, marshmallow fluff,
Right.
is a glob of fluff.
Of course, Matt's underbelly, globs of stuff. Anyway,
Wow. You two are in a fight
holy
today.
well, he mentioned the dog thing. Now I'm going full attack.
Wow.
Full beast mode.
Let me get my popcorn.
Yeah, get it ready,
Let
girl.
me get another drink.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
need
exactly.
it. The
Are we
fire.
ever going to get through the show? Probably
No, it's
not.
literally like 2 pages. The fire marshal said, quote, so the hypothesis that we got was, that we came up with was, well, what if somebody put one of those beanbags over there and lit it on fire?
Okay.
Now, this makes more sense
yeah,
to me,
yeah.
okay? They went to Walmart and bought the same beanbags to test. It went up like kindling, and the marshal indicated it was an intentional fire. Since there was a death, the investigation was turned into a murder investigation, as
Interesting.
it's natural to do.
And I mean, it might be a little early to say this, but I feel like when people intentionally burn things down, they
You would know this from
arsonists-
WVU.
right, from the couches
Of course.
on High Street in Morgantown, West Virginia on February 23rd, 2008, when we made the final four, whatever.
Exactly. But who's counting?
But who's counting? Who's,
Could be any
who's
day.
noting these things?
Could be any glob of stuff.
I should mention I was not a part of that, actually. So
Sure.
the statute of limitations protects me. No, but really, I feel like people think that burning a house down means all the evidence will disappear and like.
They always want a fire
but,
started.
Yeah, there's always the forensics behind fire and arsonists is so detailed.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I
I
don't
mean-
know. It's just interesting.
Well, people are dumb.
People are dumb. So
Yes.
the
A
investigation.
glob is a lump of
Oh no.
semi-liquid substance.
He looked it up.
So I actually think that's pretty accurate.
Megan, can we is there a way to disconnect his
Or
actual
just cancel
microphone?
this episode.
Yeah, I think maybe Detectives Den fans didn't want this.
I love how he looked it up.
No, I think they do want it.
No, well,
It's a special
I
episode.
don't know.
He doesn't look anything else up, but when he wants to prove a point.
Right, exactly. Which he didn't prove because
Right.
it's still very vague.
Right,
But
exactly.
anyway,
It's
let
fine.
him have his due. He's getting another drink.
It is what it is. Oh, yeah, enjoy another drink, Matt. The investigation didn't have to look far for a suspect. Sorry. It turned out that Shelly had been involved in 2 other fires.
Well, now this is a trend.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
That's
what I
true.
mean?
One is one thing. 2,
Fool me once.
Yeah, right.
Shame on me.
Both are at Shelly and Junior's home. The first hadn't been reported by law enforcement, was small, and happened early in the morning. The second happened the following day. That's a lot. I mean,
Doesn't
come
that seem
on.
a little weird if you
Yeah.
had two fires and like I don't know the circumstances yet.
Yeah.
But if I was with Carson and we had two fires back to back, wouldn't I be like, hey, let's not
Hey,
do
let's not
this
do this anymore. A detective said, quote, the next day, the same fire investigators who went out the day before thought that was just more than just coincidence, and they also asked for the Bremerton Police Department to respond as well. During that investigation, eventually Shelly admitted to being angry with Darcy and setting that second fire, end quote.
Smart.
Yeah.
That's clearly an intellectual move that more
to
people
admit.
need to be doing.
When she confessed, she received an arson conviction and 9 months in jail, which I think is pretty small for an arson thing. I mean, people's lives were potentially at stake there.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Megan, you know more of this. Is the sentencing based on how many people could be affected or how many people were affected?
That's a good question.
You know what I mean? Like if you
I'm
could
sure
burn
it's-
down a place that would kill 50, but you didn't succeed,
Yeah,
the
I'm sure it's up to
sentence
the
would
judge.
be worse if you actually killed 50. Yes.
Yes, if you actually killed 50
But
people.
would it matter that like in this case, like
Potential.
because Darcy wasn't hurt, let's
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
like 9 months maybe for arson where that no one was really hurt is
Yeah.
kind of a small sentence, or is it like should it have been bigger?
It depends on so many
The
factors.
jurisdiction.
Yeah, it would
and
depend on
Allie
so
isn't
many.
going to let me.
Yeah, right.
It
exactly.
depends on a lot of things.
The lawyer's like ding 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 ding,
This isn't
canceled.
working. Yes.
All right, just
All
a question to
Listen,
pose.
that's what we do here on the show. It's a good thought, Daryn.
Yes, thank
And
you.
Thank you, Megan, for being honest that you can't say.
Yes.
What's more is that she had set the fire in a suspiciously similar way, lighting clothes and towels on an upholstered chair in the basement. So that now she has a little bit of a routine here, a ritual, if you will.
Yeah.
And she had more to her record, a conviction for 4th-degree assault and domestic violence. A drunken Shelly had gotten in a fight with Darcy, and a detective told Snap, quote, she grabbed a big kitchen knife, not unlike the one Matt has sitting in his
Just watch the Detective's Den tour if you want to see that knife.
go see the knife. She grabbed a big kitchen knife and lunged at him with the knife, and the tip of the knife went through the clothing and hit his chest, but it didn't actually penetrate his skin, end quote. Kelly said, quote, I think Darcy and Shelly's difficulty started the day, honestly, that they met. You put two alcoholics together, it would sometimes get pretty ugly, end
Well,
quote.
that's the thing, and I think everyone
Yeah.
probably is like, why didn't Darcy leave her? That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
this. But if you both are suffering from a similar
disease. Yeah.
then you either make excuses or you just don't think it's that big of a deal.
Well, and alcoholism in particular is such a like behavioral disease in a sense.
Oh, for sure.
So it's like you don't even know how
it's
to
not,
handle it.
It's like not
Yeah.
them as a person.
Yeah.
It's the disease that's taking over.
Right. And it's not like a cold where you just know to go get some medicine and take some rest. Like this is like something that really penetrates
Exactly.
your being.
Yeah.
And, well, anyway, they didn't seem to be fighting the day before the fire, but Kelly's son said he heard them talking around midnight, and he told Snapped, quote, from what I heard, his paychecks had been short. She was wondering where it went, and he didn't have a definitive answer. He was saying that his hours were shorter, which they honestly probably were, and she proceeded to get really angry at him, end quote. So, okay, now you had like a financial problem.
Right, exactly.
There's
Well,
a-
this is sort of giving a little bit of a motive for her anger to
That's
come
true.
out, certainly when she's an alcoholic.
Yeah. Detectives went to see Shelly to ask her about the similarities and find out more. A detective told Snap, quote, we spoke to her on the front porch. She was just a little standoffish with us. She kept her arms crossed in front of her chest most of the time when we were talking to her, but she denied being involved in the fire at all, end quote. That's how I talk to Matt, frankly, like in our one-on-ones.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, okay, with my arms in front of me.
Yeah, no, I when you guys conference called me last week, and Matt was like, hey. And I think I was like, hey, buddy. And it was like, John's in the background, and you were like, hi. I was like,
Did I?
yeah.
I don't even remember that.
I was like, my two boys sitting there.
Yeah.
Miss Megan.
Oh, I love that we're your two boys. That's cute.
Well, I have a dog and a cat are my two boys.
Oh, that's true.
But like you
your
guys
work
are,
boys.
you guys are my work
Work
boys.
pets,
My
work
wo-
pets.
Yes,
Yep, good-
yes.
good to
Who I
know.
don't love as much.
Totally.
You-
Me is one thing.
Right.
Boy, Matt, did you know
Average.
you were signing up for this when you walked in today? Even I was getting out on
He's
some
like,
of
got
this.
a new.
Special.
Is that a new shirt?
No, yeah, he's worn that one.
How long has he been wearing that one? I love to point out his closet choices.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
Is it wrinkled? I don't think so. I don't think there's
I see a
wrinkles.
wrinkle in the third button, but I will let it go today.
We need to promote the show as like, if you love us making fun of Matt, today's your lucky day. Sign up for Detectives Den.
Yeah, pretty much.
Matt, I apologize ahead of time. When asked by the Kitsap Sun if she set the fire, Shelly Arndt said no. Quote, why would I do that to my niece and nephews and sister? End quote, she asked. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, she doesn't have a motive to harm them.
Right. Although if Shelly Arndt did set the fire, couldn't we call it Arson? And not arson.
That's it, folks.
Thank you,
We're here
guys.
all
I'll
week.
be here all week.
All week long.
Thank you. It makes up for the dog comment that Matt made.
You're good at this.
Detectives Den,
You should
this
be
is for
you should be a
I
podcaster.
should.
Here's a quote from the Kitsap Sun. Quote, she told the Sun she had been asleep on the couch with Veter. By the way, I kind of want to call him, instead of Darcy Veter, like Darthy Vader. I don't know. Anyway.
John, stick to your strong suits.
All right.
Stick to your lane.
Avengers and X-Men. Got
That's
it.
right.
Quote, she told the Sun she had been asleep on the couch with Veter and crawled over him to escape. A friend of Veter's told investigators he tried to ruse Veter and heard him groan. Or rouse Veter, is that the right word?
Yeah,
Sorry.
rouse.
Rouse, sorry, I don't know why I said ruse. The friend then made his escape, believing Veter was behind him, end quote. She claimed they had a somewhat volatile history, but that she loved him and agreed to take a voice stress test, kind of like a polygraph, but for your voice. Guess what? She failed miserably.
Well, I mean, let's just say, one, the fact that you agree to do it and you're failing, like, I don't really know. I don't know how much clout that has, just like a polygraph.
Right.
But I do, let's not skip over the quote that you said from Kitsap Sun where, you know, asleep on the couch, they're hanging out, and then crawled over him to escape.
Yeah.
What a relationship.
Right, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
Oh my God.
Take
Thank
a
God
drink.
I'm small spoon with Carson, so it's easy to just go. I don't have to climb over her.
Just hit
I
the
can just
ground
let her
running.
sleep. It's fine.
I hope you'd like grab her hand. I don't know.
Let her sleep. You know what I mean?
All right, yeah. Let her sleep.
Soon Shelly's tune was changing,
Forever.
and she was claiming that she was blacked out that night, and maybe, just maybe, she could have started the fire, but then fully denied it again when she was charged with murder.
I was just going to say, she's a little bit flip-floppy here, but
A
yeah,
little?
when you're charged for murder, I could see why you would deny it.
Well, on October 12th, 2015, Shelly went to trial. While Shelly claimed she didn't remember the night in question and was blacked out, prosecutors claimed she had planned Darcy's extreme intoxication and was all a part of her plot. They claimed she wanted out of the relationship so badly she was actually willing to kill Darcy Jr. to do it. According to prosecutors, Shelly planned to collect a life insurance policy after she killed Darcy Jr. Common theme. A detective told Snapped, quote, we spoke with Darcy's employer, some of his coworkers, and some of the things that they had told me that happened shortly after the fire. The fire was on a Sunday, and on Monday morning at 8 o'clock, Shelly went into Darcy's work to notify them of his death, turn in his badges, and then she was inquiring about his life insurance and his retirement policies. Let us not waste a moment.
She's
know.
a genius.
Let us not
She is
waste
a genius.
a moment, Shelly. Well, wait, was it Shelly who was the one who was book smart at the beginning? Which one?
I
Between
can't even
Shelly and
remember.
Kelly.
Kelly
That was
was the
Kelly.
book smart.
Well, that's clear. So her defense team immediately pointing out that because of her prior conviction, she was the only suspect investigated and the only target of fire investigators. The Kitsap Sun said, quote, Arndt's defense, using a fire investigation expert of its own, claimed the county's investigation was inadequate to support the conclusion the fire was intentionally set.
Interesting.
The detective said, quote, the jurors really paid attention to her history where she had assaulted him with a knife.
Yeah.
I mean, there had been a lot. So I think they took the totality of everything, making their decision, end quote, which is a fair assessment for a juror to make, whether or not that has
think
anything to
so.
do with the case.
Yeah.
The juror found her guilty of aggravated first-degree murder and also 6 counts of second-degree assault, 1 for each person in the home when she set the fire, according to the Kitsap Sun. The Kitsap Sun reported that Kitsap Superior Court Judge Layla Mills noted that when given the opportunity to apologize, Arndt declined to say anything, giving Mills no insight into her conscience. I don't know if you're remorseful or regretful, but you are a frightening and dangerous person, Mills said.
That's a strong statement.
Well, but true.
It's true.
Kelly said, quote, I was stunned. I was completely mortified that let alone any person but your own twin sister could take everything that you've ever had in your entire life and it's gone in one night. And she never showed remorse. She's never apologized to me for it, end quote. But Kelly's daughter thought it might be more complicated than that, saying, quote, I know that before when she's drank, she had lapses in memory. And I think that she drank so much that she has no memory of actually committing the crime, which would be hard for someone to stand up and say that they are remorse for it if they have no memory of it, end quote.
As an alcoholic, that's a pretty common theme, blacking out, not remembering the day before. I don't mean as an alcoholic myself. I'm just saying as alcoholics go.
No, and I think, obviously, like, that can make sense, but I also, and I'm not an alcoholic, and I don't have anyone in my family that's an alcoholic, so I don't want to talk out of place. But I also kind of find it hard to believe if I blacked out and didn't remember something, and everyone's sort of telling me that I did this, and I could have potentially put someone in harm's way. And she even admitted to saying, like, maybe I started the fire.
Right.
How could you, if you are any sort of person with empathy, how do you at least not apologize for being so fucking drunk that you can't remember that?
It doesn't mean you're not responsible for what your actions were. And unfortunately, that's what I feel like a lot of alcoholics do, is they kind of blame it on the disease and then try to get out of it. But
regardless, go ahead.
There's just one thing, like, how many alcoholics are there? And she, killed one person and then almost burned her twin sister alive and
the family.
The whole family.
Yeah, the whole family.
The whole family. There's something else going on there.
That's a good point.
In addition
take a
to
drink.
Drinking.
It's.
I'll take a drink.
Take a drink.
Oh,
for
he'll
that
take
one.
several. Well, regardless, Shelly was sentenced to life without parole.
Wow.
So
it's a tragic story all around. Everything that we were saying about just being responsible for your own actions, I think that applies even if you are suffering from that disease, unfortunately.
And I think, apology or not, the sentence is fair, but I think if she were to apologize, it might give at least Kelly some peace to know that, like, this person you're related to.
Well,
there's some sort of touchstone of humanity that I can come back to, especially your twin sister who are so connected.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Well, let us know what you guys think about this Detectives Den episode using hashtag Martinis and Murder. We're Jay Thrasher, Carpe Daryn, Matt the Bartender, and use hashtag Detectives Den in it so that we know you listen to it on this version.
Let's give a little Detective Den shout out, shall we?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Jess Hove, who signed up early and told us in the Facebook group for Detectives Den. Thanks, Jess.
Kathy Rocafort Poteet, great.
Cool name, right?
Cool name.
Yeah.
Signed up in June.
Yes.
So she was just not trying to miss any episodes. This one's for you, Kathy.
Hopefully she's listening. And then, of course, there's other Detectives Den members like Victoria Landry, Sophie Anna, Olivia Hart, and our friend of the show, Rosiris Baez, we've talked about before.
Yes.
Thank you guys for subscribing, and stay tuned for more exclusive episodes in the future. You guys are getting the very best of Martinis and Murder.
You really are.
Tell.
Today's episode, I mean, my God.
Yeah.
Well, and just one last time, if you're listening to this and haven't signed up for Detectives Den, I don't know how that's possible.
How could that be?
But you can do so at oxygen.com/detectivesden, all one word, or in the description of this episode. We'll link to it. And again, it's free.
Yeah. All right. So let's just check in with everybody. You had a hard time with the dog.
It's the worst case we've ever covered.
Are you okay now? Or?
I mean, I'll be fine.
All right.
But
Matt,
with time,
you've had a lot of bashes to your ego, even your physical outfit, which I think is fine. I don't know what's happening.
Do you have an apology to make?
Do you have any thoughts before we
any
wrap up?
remorse?
No, Darby, I do not.
All right, Matt's good. I'm good. Daryn, you're recovering.
I'm not going to be okay.
Yeah, and we will see you guys on our regular episodes coming back up. And by the way, if you aren't subscribed to Martinis and Murder in our regular feed, please
the fuck is wrong with you?
Please go do that now on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Bye, guys.
Bye.